When I was little, I had lots of problems, and things only got worse as I fell down below rock bottom onto the streets and became a young man. The only thing that kept me alive was this promise of refuge, of disappearing out west into the open country Great Plains, the original land of sun, wind, grass, and blue sky. All my life I dreamed of going out into the Great Plains, where you could see for miles and walk for miles, where I imagined I could disappear into a grass wilderness, be purified. This was going to be my salvation. This was going to be the restoration of my soul. And when I finally made it out there, let me tell you of my despair as I descended into the last frontier of American violence, of the danger, of my utter horror at how much bloodshed, suffering, and sorrow has been waged against our prairie earth and animals. It flipped the script. People think the inner city is a war zone, but the hood became the safe place, and the outback was the place of danger. Prairie dog killing contests, government agents and private citizens shooting tens of thousands of wild animals like coyotes from airplanes and helicopters, poison snares and traps scattered to the horizon, bristling wires snarled across the land and stringing up native wildlife everywhere. The buffalo did not roam, no freedom. The last survivors were imprisoned behind fences. And prairie dogs, I'm down for prairie dogs. Prairie dogs are the ultimate underdog. If we can save them, help them rebuild their once great civilization, we can save and restore the Great Plains and ultimately ourselves. They've built this million-year-old civilization that works in perfect balance with the earth and sky. They are a main reason the Great Plains was once so healthy, with tens of millions of wild buffalo, pronghorn antelope, birds, and more. An explosion of life that has all been killed down. Over 90% of all black-tailed prairie dogs have been poisoned, gassed, or shot. What can we say when the most innocent of us become the most victimized? You know, prairie dogs speak an intelligent language, and the towns they build are the coral reefs in the sea of grass that attract and shelter hundreds of other animals. Their civilization and societies work so healthfully together. Families, friends, work, play, and love, much like us humans. Another thing I learned about prairie dogs, every single morning when they wake up, they praise the sun and give thanks for the day. Even in the midst of the unending terror and violence that is inflicted upon them, on their homes and families, they still see the beauty in their world and give thanks for the day. Where I saw hopelessness, they showed me hope. Where I saw destruction, they gave me faith. And the Great Plains was model and metaphor for what we as people are going through too, for what we are all going through here on our crashing earth. So once I survived my own life, I said, what else is there for me to do but give back? If there is no refuge out in open country, I will work to restore it and help people take care of their own health through taking care of the earth. In October 1999, I founded the nonprofit organization Great Plains Restoration Council. And since then, we've been the founders of the ecological health movement, which is basically the interdependent health of people, animals, and ecosystems. For many years, we ran a satellite program between Pine Ridge Indian Reservation and inner city Fort Worth, Texas, where we had youth summits. They restored some of their prairie in the Grass Creek area up there while we worked on for many, many years on saving the last wild prairie in the Dallas-Fort Worth region. I'm also an American writer, and I'm the author of the book Ghetto Plainsmen, which is currently being made into a Hollywood film starring Whoopi Goldberg, Hill Harper, and many others. I've taught ecological health practices and principles around the country. I founded Plains Youth Interaction program, Restoration Not Incarceration, and Your Health Outdoors, which all follows this model of taking better care of your own health through taking care of the earth. Restoration Not Incarceration grew out of my Plains Youth Interaction program, which taught ecological health primarily in Fort Worth, but we, down in Houston, partnered with St. John's Downtown and the Bread of Life homeless shelter, and our first participants were not only formerly incarcerated, but also homeless, and the opportunity to work and not just do busy work, but actually learn some transitional skills, both life and soft and hard skills. And I've worked with jails, churches, universities, government agencies,